All right, so I want to talk to you about long irons. Now, I've got 4 irons that I'm going to be hitting here, but this might be your longest iron. It might be maybe your longest iron in your set's a 5 iron. Maybe you have 3, 4, and 5 irons and you struggle hitting your 3 iron and 4 iron. This is going to help you with the longest irons. We call it long irons, okay? And remember, by the way, to like and subscribe to the channel, all right, to get more information. But I want to show you what effects the golf clubs themselves can have. So all these clubs I'm going to hit, I've got 3 different 4 irons here. I want you to watch how the golf club that you choose in your bag has a real effect on whether you like hitting long irons or whether you have success hitting long irons. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is the T100 set. I have T100s in my set all the way up to the 5 iron or through the 5 iron, and then my 3 and 4 iron are the 505s here, okay? So here's a T100 4 iron. Same shaft that I play, same everything. That was a very, very good swing, a very good shot. Now, I want you to come up here to the front, and I want you to look at these numbers because this is an important thing. The first thing is clubhead speed's about 88 miles an hour there. That ball went 125 miles an hour. So 88, 125. That's going to be about standard for this 4 iron club that I have. Now look at what happened. That flew 194 and rolled out to 204. So about a 12-yard or 10-yard rollout on that particular shot with an apex of 76. Now, why does that club not work for me? Because I hit it solid. One, it doesn't really go the distance that I want it to go. I want it to go in the 200 to 205 range. That's what I'm trying to get in the air. That's what I'm trying to get. I also, all my other clubs, pitching wedge through 5 iron, my apex is at 90 feet. This is at 76 feet. So it's a little bit lower. It doesn't really have all the spin that I need. It doesn't have the apex that I want. It doesn't have the descent angle that I need. And all of a sudden, it's coming in like this and it's rolling out 10 yards, which 10 yards is a pile when you start talking about the average depth of a green is 30 yards. Now, I'm going to hit these other clubs, and I want you to see what happens. We're going to look at the spin rates as well. Apex is going to be an important thing, and ultimately the rollout. So that's the 100. Now, this club here is the 350. This will have a little bit faster ball speed on a similar clubhead speed. So 88 for 125. So let's see if we can get a good swing here and see what we get. Okay, so that one I hit beautifully. Now let's come up to the front. And when we look at what happens with this particular club, again, 88 miles an hour of clubhead speed on the last one. This is at 87 miles an hour, so a little bit slower. And yet I got 5 miles an hour more ball speed. Why? Because the T350 is a little bit faster, a little less loft, and it does some things differently. Thicker sole. We're not talking about clubs. We're just understanding that in order for you to perform with your long irons, you need to understand what those long irons can do for you. This one, all of a sudden I get 207, 208 out of it, and it rolls out to 219. So again, a little flatter, a little bit more rollout than I want. I got the distance that I'm looking for, but it's too much rollout. And the reason why? Because that descent angle is a little bit low, because my spin rate is a little bit low. My apex is pretty good, 87 feet. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but still better. So this one could work, but it's not my gamer. And my gamer is now this 505, the U505. It's got a little bit more mass on the bottom there. It's going to help throw this thing up into the air. It's going to give me a little bit more spin, and it's going to ultimately stop the rollout that I'm getting. That one there is another about 12 yards. So I got 10 and 12 yards of rollout. Again, greater distance, slower clubhead speed on that one. So this one was a weak strike. That was not my best strike at all. In fact, I'm going to hit another one. But the one thing that you can get from that one, and why this is in my bag, is this. Come on up to the front. And this is this. Remember I talked to you about apex. That's at 91 feet. Descent angle. That's at 42 degrees. So now all of a sudden, this is looking like my other golf clubs. My other golf clubs, I have descent angles that are in the 40s. The spin rate on that one is up around 4,500. So all of a sudden, spin rate's going up, the apex is going up, the descent angle is going up, and I've got a golf ball now that's going to land a little bit softer. This one only rolled out about 7 yards. So the other one was 10 and 12. This is about 7 yards. So it's a much better performing club. And that was a miss hit. Okay? Not the distance that I want. I told you it was a miss hit. But all the numbers are much, much better. Now we just got to be a robot and hit a good one. Okay. So there you go. So that's a really good strike. Now come on up to the front and see what we get. So the cool part is good strike, apex at 90, exactly what I want. Descent angle, 41.4. It's above 40. That's exactly what I want. And now look at my rollout here. So carry distance at 202, total distance at 209. So I had a 7-yard rollout again. It carries more than 200 yards, exactly what I want. I was looking for about 205. That's about 209, so I'm right in there. The club head speed was down. That's 85 and a half, call it 86. Ball speed at the 130, so right where I kind of want it. So I'm getting much more out of this particular club than the other ones, and I get my numbers exactly where I want them to be. And then that spin rate at 4,400. So much, much better. So this is how I ended up with this. And this is an important thing for you to understand, because when you're trying to figure out how you're going to put your set together, and the majority of the golf clubs on the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, they have these mixed sets, just like I do. It's T100 up to the 5 iron, and then the U505 in the 4 iron and the 3 iron, because it gives me that added launch angle, gives me that added apex. It gets me up to where I play at. It gives me a softer descent angle, less of a rollout, and now all of a sudden, I've got a golf club that helps me be the best that I can be, and that's what you need to pay attention to. Now, I want to help you how you can help you improve with that long iron strike. So, why do we struggle with long irons? Well, one of the reasons why is long irons have less loft. And when you have less loft, what ends up happening to you is you start trying to help the golf ball. And you either help the golf ball by throwing the head of the golf club and adding loft that way. So that swing would look like this. So I flick that one at there, and you can see when I flick it, now all of a sudden the thing goes flying straight up into the air. Pretty good shot, but flying straight up into the air. That's one of the things that happens. Or what you do most commonly is you hang back. When you come through, you start to move your body back like this in an effort to try to launch it higher. And so you have this kind of reverse C, fire the thing up into the air. And when that happens, all of a sudden, you start losing the start line, you start losing an apex, you start losing a total distance, you lose club head speed and ball speed. And all of a sudden, that one there flew 189 yards. Not exactly the shot that I wanted, with an apex of about 110. But the key is, look at that launch angle. That vertical launch that's right there, all of a sudden that's at 21 degrees. When I do what I want, that launch angle is going to come down 14, 15 degrees is what I'm going to get. How do I end up hitting this the way that I want with the consistency and the predictability that I need? You have to move into the strike, and you have to trust that this golf club that you have hired to help you play better golf, which is what happens when you buy a club, you hire a club. That's the way I look at it. So I've hired this 4 iron, and this thing's going to help me get it up in the air. What I want to do is I want to feel like I'm moving into that strike. So my body is rotating, but it's moving forward. Weight is moving forward there. So when I move forward, now all of a sudden, my body, my weight is over onto my left side. And now when I get that, I get what I want to get, which is pretty much what I just did the time before. 201 carry, 208 total distance, ball speed's at 128, so a little bit of a miss hit, but my backspin's at 4,300, my apex is at 94, my descent angle is at 42. All right, so when you start feeling the need to go this way to launch it up in the air, you got to feel like you're almost on a downhill lie, and your body weight is going to be thrown this way as it's rotating into that. And now whatever you have in that club, whatever the loft is, whatever the head looks like, that all does what you've hired it to do. And you got to trust that long iron to do so. Okay, so let's try it again. And you're going to feel, I really can't emphasize this enough. When you get up to the top, feel like you're just moving a little bit into that forward leg here, and then rotate. Okay? So here we go again. Move forward, go through. Very, very similar shot, very similar outcome. To improve your long irons or your longest iron, you've got to resist the urge to help the ball get up into the air. It's something that you've heard forever. What you have to do to resist that urge is move into it. I don't want all lateral, I want rotational, but I want you to feel like you're moving into this, almost like you're on a downhill lie and you're going to move down the hill. I don't want you to move up the hill. I want you to move down the hill. And when you start to do that and you get through it, now all of a sudden there should be a clean line from your trail shoulders all the way down to your foot. It should be a perpendicular line to the ground. I don't want you leaning back like this when you get into that follow through. I want you to be over that lead foot, well balanced in this fashion with the shoulders over that lead foot. And as that starts to happen, that long iron strike is going to get much more consistent and much more predictable after you've gotten the right long irons in your bag. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.